I've done a few videos on elastic lettering, but someone has asked me to show from the beginning how I got to that point. So I'm first going to open the lettering and monogramming tool that's in the toolbox. I will right click, and the word she's using is, put my cap lock on, MASON, and I'm going to use Varsity. And I don't know what her end result will be, if she's going to do applique, or there's so many things you can do with it. I'm going to use the Varsity block. I'm not going to use the Varsity applique. For one reason, I happen to know that the N does some funny things in the way that it forms the letters. So I'm going to start with Varsity block. And I think I'm going to go, because it is a short word, I'll go with 3 inches in height. I'm going to leave the spacing as it is. When I'm placing these letters, I always start in a straight line. Then I get my spacing worked out before I use the elastic lettering. So let's go with this, and I'll say OK. Then you click your screen. Going to touch 0. Now sometimes these letters look a little too wide for me. I think it, especially if you're going to do a longer name, you may need to narrow. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm touching 1 on my keyboard so I can get an idea of the actual size. It's quite large. Now I'm going to touch 0, and I can see that it fills the screen. So I know that I've got a hold of everything that I'm going to work with. So if I want a certain width, and I happen to be in US inches measurement, for the front of the shirt, I usually go anywhere from about 9 to 11. But if I just do my measurement, if I just change this, well, I could take the proportion off, and that'll take care of it. Let's see what we can get if we put this at 10. See what that looks like. Touching enter on my keyboard, and that did a good job of narrowing each letter. I feel they're a little close together. I can go back into my object properties, and my letter spacing, let's try 0.1 and apply. By hitting apply, this menu box stays open for you so you can make more changes. And I think I'd like to see more. Let's do 0.2 and again apply. That's looking better. Okay. And so it reduced my width by about 25%. Okay. I'm kind of liking that spacing. Some of the things I look at now, this S I might move over just slightly. I'm looking at the negative space between things, and seeing that got a little tight there. This is, the O is working itself into the N. That's fine. And what's going to look a little bit spaced out is because of this open space. But let's leave it for now. By going to reshape, you notice that my shortcut, when I hover hover over this, it tells me it's H. So I do use H on the keyboard to get my shortcuts. This S, I'm going to move ever so slightly. So what I've done is I've selected that S by clicking on the purple diamond, and I'm going to use my nudge keys. I'm going to use the arrow keys on my keyboard, and this is the arrow to the left. And that way I can nudge just a little at a time. So now I'm just by sight, I'm looking at the negative space, and I'm seeing that I hate to take the M over too far just because this is so wide open, but I am going to go a couple of clicks. So before you do anything as far as making an arch of the letters where the letters are still vertical, so we're going to use the elastic lettering that's included in our software. And you want to get all of your spacing worked out before you apply the elastic lettering. So let's look again at my width, and that's coming up just a little over 10.5 inches. Touch one just to get an idea. I think that's going to be great for the front of a sweatshirt. And from here, I will go to Edit, Elastic Lettering. I'm going to choose the curved. And if I hold my, I always forget if it's Shift or Control. Let's try Control. It does. It takes both of my control points at the same time. And, I'm usually just kind of eyeballing what I want. But I'm having, this time I'm going to try to be a little bit more accurate with this. And I'm going to take it up to about half the size. So we'll go just under where the S is now. And that looks pretty good. Okay. And it can be funny, but let's see what happens when I select this. And I want to show you also why I say that you need to do your spacing before you do your envelope, because the reshape or touching the H no longer lets me move these letters side to side. So I want to do that when they're straight across. That's going to be better. I can see a little problem here that we're about to fix. Okay, so I'm going to select Mason, and my next step is to go to my Edit toolbox, and I'm going to use the outlines and offset, and I'm going to choose the outline with a single, and the green is fine. I want to be sure that it's going around the outside edge, and I'll say okay. All right, got a little bit of trouble in the end, a little bit there on the M, but I can fix it. So this is really no longer needed, but if you're not ready to get rid of it, we could hit hide. So I'll right click and hide, and that takes it away. That way I can see where my trouble spots are. So I can see a little bit there, and I've highlighted that little odd stitch. This one gets kind of tricky. Let's see, I may need to take it to a fill, and then to It's not really overlapping anything. I want to take out, I'll start by taking this out. Let me see if it splits it up too bad. I may lose, when I delete this one, I may lose that lower. Oh, it worked great. Okay, I'm happy with that. And I'll go ahead and get rid of this one. So sometimes taking your letters to a fill stitch will allow you to clean up any little oddities. Now I'm going to change it back to my outline and see if I missed anything. Everything looks nice and clean. This looks great. So let's see what we can do with this M. And if we delete, actually I want to delete these two. So I've drawn a bounding box around them. And we'll hit delete. That worked. I don't want any of this foolishness. Everything looks nice and straight. Okay. So from here, you can do applique. You could turn this simply into an outline. I'm going to touch satin outline, and that's a great looking design just on its own on the front of a shirt. So I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.